Okay. So what a miracle, this this COVID crisis, um, forcing people to create social distancing, but at the same time, motivating us to find deeper ways to connect and more ways to connect. And look at us, every one of our homes, our houses, our apartments are open to the world right now. We have kids walking back and forth in the background. We have dogs barking. So we're actually in each other's lives. What a beautiful thing. And what a beautiful reason to come together. This Global Inspiration Conference, I've been following it. This is the 27th year. Someone correct me, but it's been a long time. What an amazing contribution the IBF has made to the world. And the Global Inspiration Conferences, bringing together so many beautiful people and creating so many wonderful initiatives. And one of them is this Conscious Breathing in the Classroom initiative, which is taking on its own legs, its own wings, and affecting parents and teachers and kids all around the world. What a beautiful thing to be doing. And so that's what we're focusing on today. We want to play with the breath and help parents and teachers and kids to use the breath to help better connect with themselves and relate to each other, to up-regulate and down-regulate their systems, to manage their energy and emotions, to give them better control over their attention and their focus, their motivation, their creativity, to deal with stress and anxiety and boredom and depression and all that stuff. What a beautiful thing to give kids some self-empowering methods and tools that we wish we had when we were kids. So here we are. And let's just begin. Everything begins with awareness, and that happens to be the core practice in this Corona emergency kit and in the Conscious Breathing in the Classroom program. Everything starts with breath awareness. And the most beautiful thing about breath work is we have to practice what we preach. It's not something you can just read and get other people to do. The way other people do it is because we do it. We model it, we example it, we practice it, we create a space around us in which other people are excited about doing it, feeling the pull and the urge to do it. And so let's start with breath awareness. And what exactly is that, right? So if you give me permission for the next 5 minutes, we're just going to do a guided session in breath awareness. And how do we actually develop more breath awareness? What is the practice of breath watching? And so it starts very, very simple. You're breathing through your nose, and you're consciously breathing through your nose. You're aware of the fact that the breath is coming in your nose and it's going out your nose. And what does that feel like? What are the actual sensations that occur as you breathe in and put your attention on the tip of your nose and look and listen and feel very carefully and track those sensations, monitor those sensations, observe those sensations, and even more, enjoy those sensations. Explore the details of them. Very simple. Air causing feelings at the tip of our nose when we breathe in, and different sensations at the tip of our nose when we breathe out. And what are those sensations? And how intimately can you feel them? How closely can you follow them? And we allow our attention to follow the breath further and deeper. Follow the path that the air takes when it comes and goes. Can you feel the breath further up into your nose and your sinuses right now? Tune into your sinuses, into your skull, and see if you can sense the breath from that area in your sinuses, deep into your skull. And can you feel the breath going up there? Can you sense the breath in your throat? As it goes around and it's on its way down into your lungs, can you feel the breath traveling in your throat, creating sounds there? Maybe you can even help and create a beautiful sound. But we're just observing what sounds are there, what feelings are there in our throat when we breathe. And then we tune into our chest, where we don't have sound so much as we have feelings, movements, the sensation of movement in our chest. And we track those movements, we enjoy them, we observe them. We look for details in them, the expansion, the relaxation, and then all the way down into the belly and tracking the breath from our belly in the form of a movement. You feel your belly seeming to fill up with breath, and your belly pops out during the inhale. And then as you exhale, your belly button travels towards the spine, your belly flattens. And when you inhale, you can feel your diaphragm flattening and going down. And then when you exhale, you can feel your diaphragm rising back up and taking its dome shape in our chest. And so we can monitor and track the breathing from the point of our diaphragm. Right? So we're trying to come in fully into this practice of breathing, into this process of breath, looking for details in our nose, in our sinuses, in our throat, in our chest, in our belly, becoming intimate with the breath. This is life flowing into us, circulating in us, and flowing out into the world through the breath. And we want to feel that experience, observe that experience, tune into it. It brings us into the present moment where everything happens, where reality occurs. Noticing the inhale when it comes in, feeling the expansion. Noticing the exhale when it comes out, enjoying the release. And we're not doing anything with the breath. The breath is breathing us. The body is breathing itself, and we become the witness. Look at the miracle, how my body breathes itself, how life is keeping me alive. What a wonderful thing to tune into and to feel and to experience and to celebrate. Little details in the breathing we've never noticed before, because you're listening more carefully, you're feeling more closely. And moment to moment, you're tracking the breath in real time. And our mind will wander. That's what minds do. And as soon as your mind wanders, you go, oh, my mind wandered. Bring my mind back to the breath, the next breath. Oh, there's a distraction. Someone is trying to signal me. Okay, I'm distracted from the breath for a moment. Okay, I realize I'm distracted. I come back and I notice the next breath. I feel the next breath, and I'm observing my breath again. It doesn't matter how many times we get distracted. That's one more opportunity to refocus our energy. It's concentration training. It's focus training. It's becoming mindful in the present moment training. And everything can serve us in this process. So practicing breath awareness, breath watching, it's a core practice. And you can do it for 1 or 2 breaths. You can do it for 1 or 2 minutes. You can do it for 10 or 20 breaths. Or you can do it for 10 or 20 minutes. And you can return to this practice in the middle of other things. When you're presenting, when you're listening, when you're washing dishes, when you're painting, when you're doing art, when you're studying, when you're working on the computer, you can step back for a moment and step into yourself and experience life coming and going from us and through us. Experience the breath in the present moment. Tune into it with love and attention and affection and appreciation and maybe wonder, maybe awe, at least curiosity, at least as a way to sharpen our focus and to use this practice to do everything more carefully. to bring more awareness into everything. And so we begin by bringing more awareness into our breath. And then from there, we bring more awareness into what we say, what we feel, what we do, our interactions with others, our posture, our behavior, our emotions. Everything benefits from the light of this awareness that we turn on in ourselves when we use the breath to focus and to become mindful and aware. Breath coming in, a moment of transition, breath going out, and maybe there's a pause, and we observe that pause. And then breath comes in, and we observe the breath coming in. And then breath goes out. And we feel the breath leaving us. Just getting into this beautiful mindfulness, focus, attention process called breath awareness, a core practice. Even 1 or 2 breaths at the right time changes everything. And 1 or 2 minutes here and there throughout the day keeps us in a certain place, allows us to keep returning to a creative, resourceful, conscious place in us. What a beautiful practice for us. What a beautiful practice to teach other children. And there's a lot more to teach. So let's take a couple of sighs of relief, maybe a little stretching. And I'd like to pass it over to Anıl, because she's going to talk about working with young kids, 3 years old to 6 years old. We have some really fun practices, Tarzan breath, bunny breath, and different breathing games and toys. And so I'd like to turn it over to Anıl. If maybe in between, if there's something in the chat box, Tilsum, that we want to address or answer or respond, maybe let's take a minute and see, let's check our chats, see if there's anything. Tilsum, you want to just take over before we pass it to Anıl and address anything in the chat box?
Yes, nothing in the chat box, and Anıl can continue.
Okay.
Beautiful. Anıl,
Yes,
the stage is yours, love.
Thank you, Dan. It was such a lovely breathing exercise, the core breath practice in our emergency Corona breathing kit. You can download our kit at www.thebreathingclassroom.com website for free. So you don't have to rush taking notes all the time for this seminar. You can always take notes, of course, but most of the breathing exercises, actually all of the breathing exercises will be there, and also the context and the content. So you don't need to write all those exercises. And let me talk about a little bit about how conscious breathing can help children and parents. It helps us set to focus, calms and relaxes anxiety or fears, energizes and brings clarity and optimism, which I love that a lot. Helps release build up energy, balancing the energy, helps both kids and parents and also the teachers at school to self-regulate and self-soothe. With some balanced breath exercises, you will see the actually difference. And also on the scientific way, it helps with the post-traumatic stress disorder cases. And this is very important for parents. It helps for easing into sleep at night or nap time. And as a mother of 5 years old, so I can understand all the preschool kids' parents. But the earlier you start with those preschooler kids, with the children, the better you support with those breathing games, the better you support their self-resilience and regulating their emotions. This is really a gift, as Dan said. And preschoolers learn best through games, of course, and stories. Impulse control, attention, and empathy can be incredibly empowering as inner skills. And we can teach these skills by playing conscious breathing games. I love saying it in that way. And you can use several fun toys, which I'm going to show you my toys right now. Yeah, let's make the fun. So these are baby dolls, minions, or also teddy bears. So while you are doing that core breath practice, you can always use those breathing buddies with the children or breathing friends. So my son is, yeah, I said 5 years old, and he's into Legos, and he has a Lego breathing buddy too. So breathing buddy can be anything. So just use it, and you name it. And use those breathing buddies onto the bellies of your child while they are lying down. Invite them to close their eyes. If they don't want to close their eyes, which is okay, they can focus one point, and you can tell them, no more talking. We are playing a game. And while you breathe in, the teddy bear rise up, and while you breathe out, the teddy bear falls down. So the important part with the young kids is using the nose breathing. So nose breathing is very, very important. If you're chasing the kids like they are doing mouth breathing most of the time, like try to coordinate them, tell them to use their nose. Breathing through their nose and breathing out through their nose again. And in some cases, of course, we can use breathing through our nose and breathe in and breathe out through our mouth. And I'm going to show you one of the most favorite kids breathing game in our breathing kit. We need a straw, we need a paper cup, a little hole for the straw, and this is a latex glove. So I will breathe in through my nose and breathe out through my mouth, and let's see how the glove up and down. This is such a funny exercise. The little ones love it. And actually, we can call it like high five. So you can make high fives even with the breath. And it's a good exercise also to show the breath awareness to the little ones and the power and magic of the breath. And while we're talking about straw, I will show you some other things. Feathers. The little one loves feathers. So make the little breeze or a big thunder or very strong wind. Something like that. So you can always put those feathers onto the floor or onto a table, or you can use those small little softy balls. And from A to B, the kids can go from with their straw using their breath. That's a very fun exercise, and it's a breathing game. And actually, we do it also in my son's birthday party, and all the kids love that too. Another thing I'm going to show you. Ta-ta! So this is a fan, and you can always do breathe in and breathe out exercises to focus the kids at that age, especially at 3 years old. It's not easy to make them focus, of course, but with this, it's easier, at least for a couple of breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. You can also use you can always use a mountain breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out through your nose. And you can see with my drawing, I hope, with my very bad drawing, a mountain. So you can breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out with the kids. And imagine, what can it be more? A heart shape, You can always do breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. You can make 3 heart shapes or 5 hearts. I mean, it can be according to however the children like. And what else? Yeah, I will talk about the Tarzan breath right now. This is also one of our favorite breaths. You know the Tarzan from your childhood? Yeah. And that Tarzan, actually, how does Tarzan yell? Tarzan's yelling to invite their friends, the cheetah and the other animals. So you can always invite your kids with an sound to make the Tarzan breath. We will use sound, vibration, movement, and breath in this exercise. And it is a good energizer and also a very good breathing exercise to balance the energy. When the energy is very low or when there is excess energy, you should use this exercise. And we will also stimulate a little bit our thymus point. So this is also good for the immune system of the kids. And plus, to focus kids before and after, before especially online learnings or meals or some activities. Okay, let's try. Make your hands fist. And we will, we will do it to our chest and breathe into your nose with the nose out. This is also called the gorilla breath. I think Dan has made the gorilla version because it's also so much fun. You can, if you do this breathing exercise like 2 or 3 times, you will feel the vibration and energy and also the balance in your body. So this is very nice. So while I was showing those breathing buddies and breathing toys, so make a breathing box, put all your breathing toys into it, and if you have nothing to use your hands. So I will show you a hand breath exercise. So I'm a right-hander, so I'm going to use my left hand and I'm going to use my fine finger. So while I'm breathing in, while I'm breathing out, I'll go down. While I'm breathing in, I'll go up, and while I'm breathing out, I'll go down. So I'll breathe in through my nose and I'll breathe out through my mouth. Okay? You'll go this way and come back. Let's do it together. Breathe in, breathe out through your mouth. And come back. No pause. Brothers and sisters also can do this exercise like this. So making their hands all together and doing it also with one finger and with the other one. So this is also a fun exercise. And put a peaceful music and try to draw your breath with the music, with the children, with your eyes closed and your eyes open. So enjoy the music, enjoy the rhythm of your breath, and enjoy your drawing. Always ask the kids what they are feeling after their breathing exercises, and share your feelings with them. I'm feeling calmer, peaceful, or still a bit anxious, so I need more breathing exercises. So I hope you enjoy as much as me. I am doing those breathing exercises. So that's it from me right now. And thank you for listening. And we are with Dan again.
Okay. Wow. So much fun. So beautiful. You can see there are so many ways to get kids to tune into their breath and start playing with their breath. And, you know, it's really important that when we're working with kids, we're watching them and point out to them if they're using their shoulders and they don't need to, you know, because kids are so passionate, they're going to try to put a lot more energy into it than they need to. And we can help them to develop more efficient breathing, really healthy breathing. Watch for little kids that they don't start to engage in habits they're going to have to unlearn, you know, creating too much tension when they breathe, pushing too hard, using muscles to breathe that they don't need, and just gently bringing their attention to that one. Hey, did you notice that you're moving your shoulders? You don't need to do that. Your breathing is in your belly. And, you know, we want to be watching and supporting kids that they're not trying too hard and actually creating dysfunctional habits, you know, artificial manipulation of their breathing. We want to make sure that we're not inviting kids to, you know, screw up their breathing, right? So we have to be very observant when children are breathing, catch and watch if they're starting to develop habits that we would like to say, hey, become aware of this, notice this, right? And you can see how much fun we can have with breathing, so many different ways just to get kids conscious of breath. Thank you so much. And I'm looking at some of the people on board. Thank you everyone for showing up. This means you're really interested in children. You're interested in helping them. I see Georgina, I see Linda, I see Mel, I see Eric, Janine, Derville, Megan, so many other folks. Thanks for showing up. And I assume that you guys are gonna take this out into the world. You must be working with kids and you can multiply all of our efforts. So thank you. Anything in the chat box that we need to handle before we go on to the next thing, Tilsum?
Yes, we can continue.
Okay. So another core technique.
Sorry, can I just say something there? We do have a question in the chat bar, and that is just if people want to say whether they're coming in as a teacher or a parent, it helps us to fine tune how we're doing this. And maybe if you say teacher, parent, say where you're tuning in from. We're from all over the world.
Beautiful. Yeah, this chatbot, let us know. Who are you? What are you doing here? Give us a thumbs up. Tell us what you want or like, who you are. Beautiful, because this chat is permanent. We can go back later and you can make connections with other people who are online here. And thank you for that, Joanne. Good idea. Yeah, everybody put something in the chat box at some point just to let us know that you're out there, that you're in here. Thank you, Joanne. All right, so another core practice is the relaxing breath. You know, I love that Tarzan breath because there are times when, you know, we just got a lot of energy. We don't know where to focus it. A lot of things are coming up at the same time and you can't manage it. And so you just, and ta-da, and now you're ready to focus on something or whatever, right? So, and I think, you know, kids get this really quick because they love it in the first place and we're giving them permission to vent emotions, to express their heart. Really important. And no judging, just let them just shout how they want to shout and then point out to them how that's an exhale. And then point out to them how they first take in energy before they put out energy. So many beautiful teaching moments around the breath that we can bring in. And one of them is the relaxing breath. And so let's do that. You know, so much wisdom comes out of a relaxed state. It's true that stress and emergencies and crises, this triggers our creative energy. It makes us take action. And so, you know, that's a motivator. But there's a different quality of thought and of feeling and of words and of actions that come from a very deep, relaxed space. And so we need to be able to return to that space in us. And we need to be able to show parents and teachers and kids that they have a way to find a peaceful center in themselves. Even in the middle of chaos, in the middle of anything, we can cut a path We can create a road, a way to enter and access a peaceful place in us. And we can practice going back and forth and get really good at that, so that when we need to relax, we can. When we have to relax, we're able to. And so let's practice using the breath for that. So I'm just going to take about 5 minutes now and focus on using the breath for relaxation. So the first thing is, relaxation is not a doing, really. It's not one more thing we're doing. Okay, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. And now I got to relax too. No, 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 no. First of all, we need to back up a little bit. And so you just tune into your breathing. You're breathing through your nose. Take your attention off everything else. And just relax and breathe normally through your nose. Nothing special. But begin to notice the length of your inhales and notice the length of your exhales. Just paying attention. Aha. I noticed my inhale was about 2 or 3 seconds long. Interesting, yeah. There's a little moment of pause, and then my exhale came, and my exhale was 2 or 3 seconds. So you're just beginning to observe the length of the inhales and the length of the exhales, just noticing what's happening there. And then the next step is we're going to very gently, well, what you do want to do is you want to ride the inhales and ride the exhales. You know, when we're in our mother's arms and she's rocking us, there's something beautiful about that pendulum. There's something, you know, if you're sitting on someone's lap and they got their knee going up and down and they're bouncing you, there's something beautiful about it, that up and down movement. Children love it. And they love this pendulum and swinging, rocking motions. And so we bring that into the breath to relax. We feel the rising and the falling. We feel the swing of the pendulum of the inhale and the exhale. And we just tune into that because it's naturally relaxing all by itself when we give it attention. So it's a smooth, gentle rising and falling with each breath. And it's a smooth, graceful swing of a pendulum from the inhale to the exhale. Very relaxed, very easy. Just gentle, pleasurable. And the exhale has a natural relaxation response in it. The exhalation is relaxation on a physiological, biochemical level. Relaxation is in the exhalation. So when we want to relax, we begin to focus more on the exhalation. We lean into the exhalation. We lengthen the exhalation. And so you take a normal breath in, a normal breath out, and then very gently, very consciously, just take the exhale a little further. Make the exhale a little longer. So we're moving towards a practice where the exhale is twice as long as the inhale. It's a 1 to 2 breath. If my inhale is 2 seconds, I gently make my exhale 4 seconds. If my inhale is 3 seconds, I gracefully and gently try to stretch my exhale out into 6 seconds. Now, some people run out of breath before they count to 6. They count to 3 and they feel like they're already empty. That's okay. Just pause openly. And if any more breath wants to come out, we give it another 2 or 3 seconds to come out until we reach our 6 count on the exhale. Maybe it's 4, 8. I inhale 4. And so I exhale 8. If you have to force, if you have to push, that's not relaxation. So you exhale as long as it takes, but you continue the count if you haven't reached the count, and stay open, stay soft, and a little more breath can come out. But try, now we're moving into making the exhale twice as long as the inhale. This is leaning into the parasympathetic branch of the nervous system. It's activating the rest and restore and renew and relax branch of our nervous system just by making our exhales twice as long as the inhale. And I notice that when I practice this, sometimes it's 3 and 6, and then sometimes it's 4 and 8, and then I come out of that 8, and maybe my inhale is 2, and so the next exhale is 4, and so it's like a dance. It's not strict, it's not rigid. It's a general movement towards making the exhales longer. So we have more time to relax on the exhale and really let that relaxation response click in. It's a 1 to 2 breath. And then as you're exhaling, and you're exhaling that breath out, you're doing it now while I talk, you relax your jaw very consciously. When you release the exhale, release your jaw. Relax your neck. Relax your face muscles. Relax around your eyes. So you're doing this with each breath. When you're exhaling, you're releasing tension from your muscles. You focus on your shoulders. You can relax your arms and your hands. You relax your spine. You relax your belly and your pelvis. And you relax your hips. And you relax your legs and your feet. And maybe one place in your body needs a few breaths more than other places to relax completely. So you listen to your body. In every breath, you're focusing on relaxation, on releasing tension, and on making the exhale twice as long as your inhale. Doesn't have to be exact. And just stay in touch with it. It's conscious breathing. That breath I just took was 3 seconds in and 6 seconds out. But you find your own rhythm, and maybe it'll change as you go. As you become more relaxed, as you get comfortable and you come into the breathing rhythm, the breath will start to guide you. And you're just gently giving your breath this instruction: make the exhale twice as long as the inhale, and focus on releasing tension from my jaw, from my neck, from around my eyes. If I've been staring at the computer for a while, I need to close my eyes, breathe into them, exhale, and let my eyes melt and relax. And if I'm an artist, I want to do that to my hands. I want to breathe into my hands and let my hands relax, so some creative energy can come through me and inspire my movements. If I'm getting ready to run and play outside, maybe I want to relax and energize my legs for a while. Or just in general, we get caught up in stressful conversations and many tasks, and we have lots to do, and we're not done doing one thing, and we have something else to do. And then we're not done that, and we have something else to do. We have to build into our system recovery loops, where we just take a few breaths or a couple of minutes to relax before we go back into our activities. And teach children to do this also. I'd like to pass this on to Luke, who's going to talk about working with primary school and teenagers, and some really fun breaths: woodcutter's breath, inflating tire, bear breath. I love that. But before we do, Tilson, is there anything in our chat box? Is there any questions, any comments? Are there anything we want to address before I hand this over to Luke?
Participants from all over the world, parents, teachers, breath practitioners, and a grandmother, and telling and saying thank you to you all.
Good. Don't underestimate that sigh of relief. When you need to relax quickly in the middle of anything, you simply take in a long breath, take your time. You know you're feeding yourself life. You know you're giving yourself love and attention for a moment. You open and expand, and then you exaggerate the exhale. And give yourself the most delicious, enjoyable sigh of relief that you can give yourself. One breath like that can restore us completely when you master it. So, onward to Luke. I love this. Thank you, Luke. It's your show. Welcome to the stage. What can we do for primary schools and teenagers, and how can we play with the breath to energize and manage emotions and charge ourselves and center? What have you got, Luke?
Actually, it's a very nice age to start breathing exercises with. And actually, the earlier you start, the better. They're so they like so much to work with it. It's so revealing, and it's always joy. At this age, we always connect some games or stories with them, as Anıl shows us. But we can't continue. Even adults like games. It's not necessary anymore, but if you can add this, well, it's fun. Fun and laughter. And remember, laughing is a very nice, intense breathing exercise of its own. The more we laugh, the better we feel, the more hormones we produce, and so on. It's all for free, and we enjoy it. No medicines, and so on. So now, those people, those children, they are young people. We have to add some impulse control. Sometimes we need to draw their attention, and when they feel sad, well, we need to have empathy, to comfort them, and they are all very nice qualities if they can integrate it. And they are very powerful inner skills at the end when they have to deal with serious problems and conflicts. So we can teach these skills in a playful way. They are open for clarification afterwards. It's not just for fun, but it's so they have got something. They can feel the benefits, and it's good to learn them to word what they feel. It's a problem for a lot of us adults to talk about our feelings, to express our feelings. And the earlier we start with them, with very innocent experiences to learn them to express, the better they do it when they need it for difficult situations. So, relaxing breath, we have this, but it's not always by relaxing we can solve a problem. Sometimes we need to do something else. For example, when young children are angry, when they are very heavy, strong emotions, how could we learn to deal them with those strong emotions? Sometimes we need a different approach. Acting out their anger, for example, can be a good solution. The problem is always, how can we do this in an acceptable way? And the woodcutter's bread is one of these possibilities. I demonstrated it, and I hope you can join in, and we can do this together. Just a moment. Stand upright and you breathe through your mouth. Eyes open and your legs are spread slightly and be very powerful, staying powerful. And we are going to chop wood. We take the handle of the axe to chop wood. So in both our hands, showing it, we raise the axe, we lift the axe above our head while we are inhaling. And then we drop the axe swiftly with a very strong exhale with a cry. Hi! A very strong exhale. But when we are down, we stay in this way, hanging down our head and arms very loosely, and we stay here for 2 relaxing breaths. Then we come upright and we start all over. So, stand legs apart, eyes open, strong position. Take the handle and let's do it together. Take the handle. Ready? Okay. We lift the handle and then we inhale and drop. Stay there. 2 deep breaths. Upright. We do it again. Take the handle of the axe, raise it, lift it above our head, inhale and ha! And relax. You can do that 3 times, 4 times. And it's important that the pupil, even the adult, that you make a strong cry, a strong sound, like you are doing with the Tarzan breath, very strong, powerful, strong breathing in and out. And this as if you are throwing or smashing your anger away. And really, it's very helpful. I think that Anıl's son is doing that sometimes. Not that Anıl is that serious and severe mother, but it's good to know that it's very helpful. So it's good. It's a very appropriate exercise for releasing anger and other irritating and other irritating energy, whatever you have built up for a long time. And now another exercise, another age group is the older ones. We make the bridge to them. More teenagers, 10 to 13 years old. They have to deal with a lot of other emotions and problems. Their bodies are changing, their minds are changing, their social positions are changing. What isn't changing in their world? It's all changing dramatically. And they are open for the world. They are looking for a place in the world, how to act, take a position. And they are wondering who they are. They have a lot of questions about themselves. Who am I? What am I doing? What are my capacities? I'm the only one who can't do this and that. But if we check, or if they check, all those pupils have similar problems, and they all think and consider of themselves they are the only ones. We can help him in this process. All these things can provoke insecurity, anxiety, and very strong self-criticism. Their arms are too long, their nose are growing too fast. Their physique isn't in proportion. It's all out of harmony. And so are their feelings. And so are the parents who have to deal with them. So, conscious breathing can be very helpful to introduce timeouts when they are very angry. Just consider that it is going wrong, taking a break, a short breath, and choose, for example, an appropriate attitude to go on, and a breathing exercise can be a solution. So we can stimulate, increase their self-esteem, reduce their stress, and also their worries and anxiety. Dealing with strong emotions is a tool, a very nice tool for self-regulation, for balance, and not at least resilience. And who of us doesn't need resilience in its life? Everybody. So it's good we train them from a young age through their puberties and to integrate this until they are adults. So, what I am presenting you. I'm offering an exercise we can regularly integrate in the class to make fun, to change the energy. And this requires adaptability on the part of the parents, the adolescents, the teachers, to be creative in what exercise they are adapting, doing at this moment. One very nice exercise is inflating the tire of your bicycle. And oh, I've forgotten, where's my pump? Oh, just a moment. Here I am again. It's a 2 minutes exercise. And I show you. You're standing upright. You take your bicycle pump in your left hand and you bring it. Can you see me? Okay, yes. And you bring it towards your left knee. Take the handle with your right hand, and then pulling it out, you come straight and you breathe in. Pushing it out, you breathe. Yeah, you breathe out very strongly. You make a sound and you come right. You can continue. I just give you a demonstration. It's very easy, and I invite you then to join in. So. It's as easy as that. Remember, like we do it again together, it's only 2 minutes standing up, doing that exercise and sitting down. And the complete atmosphere in the classroom has changed. They have laughter instead of sleeping, of boring. And it's an investment of the teacher. He's not losing time, it's an investment. Otherwise, next day, he can start all over. And now he has invested 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and he can continue. And they know what he's saying, what he has been teaching. Now, I invite you to join. Stand up, right? And take care. You might, it's possible you can need it as well. For example, after a long drive with a car, you need to stop. Well, pump the tires. Okay, ready? Stand, and you don't need the pump. Okay. Take the pump, the handle, bring it to your knees. Yes, and okay. The only thing is, you can have a dry mouth, but that's not a problem. There is some water for it. So, in fact, such a breathing exercise, I use the word investing as a teacher. It's not losing time, it's investing. Investing in respect for the pupils, investing in your own respect, that you can teach, that they are listening, and you have result from what you are doing. Such a breathing exercises, when you introduce this in a classroom, mostly they are tilting moments. Moments that create another energy from a blocked energy, a blocked situation in an active one. And you shift the energy from the impossible to the possible. Isn't that nice? You don't know what they are going to do, but it includes possibilities. Movement is often linked to a lot of those exercises. And this helps also to bring movement in the mindset. When pupils are sitting down after that exercise, there is laughter in the classroom. Laughing is breathing, they continue. They simply asking, okay, join, we can go on. You don't need to start immediately after a breathing exercise. After you have done a breathing exercise, you can say, okay, stay there for a while. Close your eyes. Feel what has changed. It's self-awareness. What is happening inside of me? What has changed? And this is very important for their self-regulation. The teacher is offering this, but when they are conscious of the effect, they can do it themselves. Students studying of their own, in their room at university, high school, and so on, they are pissed off of what they are doing. Well, such an exercise. Rope skipping. Take care of rope skipping. 2 minutes rope skipping. This is an enormous, a gorgeous breathing exercise. Circulation all over in your body. Oxygenated. Blood circulation. You are out of breath. And you have movement in a short period of time. You can continue. So, question. a frequently asked question I'm anticipating is, how do I start in classroom with these things? Well, I advise to start with yourself as a teacher, that you are mastering those exercises, that you know by experience, not because we have written what it is good for, but by your own experience, you feel what it is good for. And perhaps you discover it is good or working well in quite another situation. So go ahead, be creative. And if you discover something, let us know, give feedback. We can add this. It's easy to start when you do this in an informal way. A pupil has a problem. He needs to say, to present, he has a difficulty, and oh, he feels sad. Well, just invite him, okay, it's okay. With empathy, take a deep breath. Come, let's breathe together, a deep breath. And the pupils in the classroom will see on his face that it is working. You don't need to give lots of explanations. And you can ask, well, okay, join in. We do it all together. And then up. And that's it. So this is a way to introduce. In the older classes, when they are older, so it's more difficult. Sometimes they have more macho conduct, and it's good to introduce. It's good to introduce those exercises, especially on a moment that they don't need it. When they are very peaceful, when they are relaxed, well, they are very willing to join in. And then afterwards, you can use it when it is needed. Or
wow, that's so perfect. That's really beautiful, Luke. Exactly right. You know, people need to practice when they don't need it. So when they do need it, they've already got the skill.
yes,
This is
yes.
so great. Yeah, thank you, Luke.
And a little moment to consider or to connect with a small meditation. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you.
Excellent. Wow, thank you so much. Beautiful. So, Anil, I think we have some really cool thing happening coming up. Lisa's going to take the stage. We just want to very quickly do a little balancing breath. Okay, we've gone from energizing, what you were just the rocket, that's energizing breaths. We talked about relaxation breaths. And then let's just very quickly cover another very core practice, and that is the balancing breath. And this is very, very simple. It's paced breathing. There's a lot of great medical scientific validation and confirmation of this. And we could just pick a general in the middle of the road rhythm, and that is 5-second inhale, 5-second exhale. 5-second inhale, 5-second exhale. Very, very simple. But this is a paced breathing pattern that balances the nervous system. Inhale 5 seconds, exhale 5 seconds. Activate the sympathetic branch for 5 seconds, activate the parasympathetic branch for 5 seconds. So this is another exercise, another technique that we want to practice, we want to learn, we want to master, and we want to introduce to parents and teachers and children. If you've got a little body and you're a small child, 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out could be too slow for you. So maybe it's 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. But you find that natural, easy, steady rhythm where you equalize the inhale and the exhale, the balancing breath. So maybe you start out by doing a cleansing breath. Get comfortable, and then just begin to equalize the inhale and the exhale. Equalizing the length of the inhale and the exhale. Go ahead and do that now for a few breaths. Pick your own count. I suggest 5 seconds. If that's easy for you, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. If that's too slow and you feel you need to breathe quicker, okay, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. But the idea is to equalize the inhale and the exhale. So you're balancing your nervous system. You're both energized and relaxed. A perfect balanced state to accomplish things, to speak from, to enter into tasks. So let's just take a couple of minutes right now and you find your own rhythm. Start with 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. And if you have to adjust it a little faster, a little slower, fine. Listen to your body. Find what's comfortable. But equalize your inhales and your exhales. This is the balancing breath. So if this is easy for you, feels good, just put in the chat box, 5-5 works great for me. If for some reason you adjust it, let us know, hey, 4-4 works better for me. 6-6 works better for me. But just let us know, give us a little feedback. How does this work for you? Is it easy? Can you get right into it nicely? Can you stay with it? Because you can stay with this. Right now, we're just teaching it quickly so you get a taste of it. But you could do this for 20 minutes to do this on. So a couple of comments, just make your feelings known in the chat box. We're going to start looking at time here. So I don't want to rush things, but we want to get everything in. And so I'm going to pass this to Anıl at the moment because I think she's better at introducing Lisa to the stage. And
before that, we have some
yes.
questions.
Oh, good.
Okay. So there was a question, are there any exercises that we are not recommended for a certain age? And Joanne answered it. The kids, you can see them in the Corona Kids manual. And there was a question,
Right.
how long will the primary children do a practice? Is 15 minutes, is 15 minutes the right length? What about other age groups?
Yeah, in the manual, in the conscious breathing in the classroom manual, the exercises are set out according to age, according to the class that they're in, according to reasons. So I suggest those kind of questions, they're already answered in the manual. Download that manual, sign up for that, get that, because those questions are answered. Yeah, 15 minutes, that's a long time for a young kid to stay focused. Just getting them for 1 or 2 minutes is a lot, is brilliant, is great. And as they get older, they can put more time. They have a longer concentration period. And so it's age related. Check on the manual for that. You can get exact answers there.
Okay. And I would just add for the very young children, it just might be 2 or 3 breaths. That's it. And then as you introduce a little bit in the day, you just bring in 1 bit here. By the time the kids and the parents or the kids and the teachers have a practice, you might have 15 minutes throughout the whole day.
Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, and listen, Luke, I really love what you said about if we can implant in kids' minds, when you want to take a break, take a breath. If we all need to take a break, what we all need to do is to just breathe. And what a brilliant twist on a phrase. Hey, let's take a break. Well, let's take a breath. That's really brilliant. Thank you, Luke, for that. And the jumping rope, skipping rope in rhythm to the breathing, both for the kids that are doing the rope and the ones that are jumping. What a brilliant, wonderful way to integrate conscious breathing into repetitive activities. So, boy, we're really giving a lot today. Thank you, guys. And so I think we're up for Lisa now. Anıl, you want to introduce her? Or Lisa, you just come straight on either way.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious because Lisa has stuff on breath hygiene. We're cutting your time kind of short. We're running a little late, but I hope you can squeeze everything in.
Yeah,
but let's hear from,
Yeah, we are
Yeah.
running a bit late, but I think it's worth to hear Lisa's talk because it's very important. And just afterwards, Joanne is going to sing a brilliant song to us. So stay with us, guys. And let me introduce Lisa. We are very delighted to be with you today, Lisa, actually here. Lisa is a breath behavior analyst. Her specialty is the psychophysiology of breathing. She is a somatic breath therapist, and also she has a Master's of Science degree in Applied Breath Sciences through the Graduate School of Behavioral Health Sciences. Spending 20 years at the feet of women during childbirth taught Lisa much about the power of breath. Her concurrent experience as a mental health professional with a special focus on integrative therapies for trauma recovery led her to an exploration of the science and spirit of breathwork. She's a member of the IBF, International Breathwork Foundation, and also Breathing in the Classroom Project and the Canadian Thoracic Society. I am so excited to hear your speech, Lisa, as a mother and the wife of a teacher. Stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, we have approximately 14 minutes, so you're going to get the elevator speech version of what I have to share. And then I think what I'll do is I'll organize perhaps sometime in the next week, I will videotape a longer full session that might be up to 90 minutes where I can really get into a lot of the process and maybe dig a little bit more into the science for the parents and teachers who want to know how to apply this more rigorously and maybe cross-curricularly so that it can be for all ages. So I have had experience teaching kindergarten to grade 12 in addition to raising 4 young men. They are now all adults. And actually one of the grandmothers of one of my grandchildren is on this call with me today. So I'm super excited that we're sharing across the spectrum and across the globe. And I decided to call this presentation Breath Hygiene, even though I know most of you are here because you want to learn something about mask wearing. But I think that the foundations of when we do something with children that is going to change the expectations of their physiology, we need to start with the basics. And so breathwork basics start with breath hygiene. And what is hygiene? Hygiene is anything that we do that is a set of behaviors that we adopt that upholds the healthy function of our physiology. And so we brush our teeth, and we brush our hair, and we wash our bodies, and we could even say we cut our nails. That's part of our hygiene. We wear shoes to protect our feet. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about what we can do to protect the proper functioning of our breath. And so we've had a lot of fun talking about regulation and getting kids involved and all of these exercises that help balance the nervous system. I want to back it up just a little bit and talk a little bit about function. What's the function of breathing? I like to ask children this, and you get all kinds of fun answers. When I ask my grandchildren about why are we breathing, they say, Grandma, if you don't breathe, you're going to die. Well, that's the right answer. Yes, if you don't breathe, you're going to die. And what parents and teachers need to understand, and children seem to already get this, is that our breath learns. And when our breath is learning, it holds on to that memory. And so every experience that we have informs our breathing. It's part of our physiological process to make sure we're alive to take the next breath. And so when we're breathing, our body wants to make sure no matter what we're doing, thinking, feeling, or observing, that we can be alive to take the next breath. And so sometimes we learn adaptive patterns for breathing to keep us alive that then get stuck. We stay in this adaptive pattern for breathing, and we don't come back into a physiologically normal pattern of breathing. And so breath hygiene then is bringing children's attention to what does normal breathing look like? And then, as Dan was saying in the beginning, it comes with a practice of awareness. And so let's set a baseline for breath hygiene. The first thing that, and I'm going to this is the elevator speech part, I'm condensing it, please forgive me. Number 1, Breath hygiene is different than oral hygiene. Children need to understand two things. Your nose is for breathing, your mouth is for eating. Yes, you could technically take a drink through your nose. How much fun would that be? Not very fun. And yes, you could technically take a breath through your mouth, in and out, all day long. But it's about as fun for your body as drinking through your nose. And so it's important for children to understand breathing through the nose is what the body expects. That's how we're built. So that's the difference between oral hygiene and breath hygiene. Starts with breathing through the nose. And now, to help you remember something that I'm condensing really quickly, I've created an acronym for you today. So if you have a pen and paper, write down the word nasal. The first word, N, is breathing through the nose. The second word, it's nose, and then the S is speed dash slow. Okay, so we're bringing awareness to nasal breathing. Then we're bringing awareness to the speed of the breath. As you can see, we did that with a lot of exercises today. The biological and physiological expectation is that the breath is generally slow. So under 12 breaths per minute. That is not the global average because of a lot of reasons, which I'll get into in my longer call. So the S is slow and speed. And then there's the second A, which is and. We're just going to use those as little loops. And the L. The L is to help children remember that the breath comes from the lower part of the belly. So we're teaching about the diaphragm. It's low, it's light. So the breath is light. It's not coming all the way up into the chest all the time. It stays in the belly. So it's low and light. And in specific situations, it's long. It doesn't always have to be long, but using this acronym is a really good way to get started on teaching children breath hygiene. Is your breath coming from your nose? Is it slow? And what's your speed? And is it light and low? And so those are things I've been using with children with some really good responses. In terms of bringing awareness to that, it even helps to use some of the breathing buddies that Anıl was using earlier by putting them on different parts of children's body and having them breathe their buddies up and down to get a sense of breathing hygiene. Now, I know it's going to come up probably in the chat. Someone's going to say, but I have a child that mouth breathes because of nasal issues, or I have a child with asthma. These are special considerations that do not mean they can't nasal breathe, but they would need some special supports to learn how to do it again because they have adaptive patterns that have created a mouth breathing habit. So that's something I'll deal with in the longer session. So is there anything in the chat box that I need to address right now? Okay, great. So the second part of the breathing as behavior is recognize that that breath is behavior. And as I said, we learn. What happens when we teach children to be aware of the breath and to modify the breath with these interventions that the conscious breathing in the classroom is bringing? As we bring them into a higher awareness, we're also bringing them into this really unique place where they can repattern habits that they've collected that were really valuable and useful for them in the moment that maybe aren't working for them anymore. And there's a whole science behind that, again, longer call, but we're going to get into just one little thing about this. And it's important because the psychophysiology around breathing, if there is anything going on for a child and they are under stress, the first thing you're going to see it in is their breathing. And when we put a mask on that tiny little face, the mask acts as a magnifier. It reveals underlying disordered breath patterns and it amplifies learned behavior. So if there's any of those things underneath, you're actually, as a teacher and parent, you're going to see an increase in a certain type of symptoms if children are wearing masks, if they don't already have solid breath hygiene. And so this is why before we do anything, before a mask goes on a child's face, you want to make sure that you've had an opportunity to spend time with your students and children in nasal breathing and breath hygiene. So unfortunately, because of the timing of schools reopening, we don't all get that opportunity to, spend a few days working with students, getting them used to masks. And so it's really going to fall into the laps of parents to spend some time doing exercises and desensitizing students to what the mask does to their physiology. And so that's the next piece that I want to talk about, is what is a mask doing to the physiology? Anyone who spends 5 minutes on social media knows there's a lot of opinions. What I'd like to say is this. When we are breathing through a mask, children and adults together, the masks in and of themselves are not causing you harm. However, the breathing patterns that you adopt while you wear a mask for a myriad of reasons may cause you harm and symptoms that can be resolved with kindness, compassion, and attention. And so this is the piece that I want to work on for the next, we have 5 minutes left, for the next 5 minutes, okay? So the first piece that we need to do is establish good breath hygiene. And this, for all parents and teachers of little ones, establishes the physical safety required before putting masks on children. If they know that they know how to breathe, then it's not going to be as scary for them. The second piece is to develop the psychosocial safety. And we do that by some of the things that have been covered so well already today. Good modeling. Do the teachers and parents know their own breathing patterns, and are they modeling them to the students? Secondly, increasing breath and body awareness for children, spending time validating that the information they gather when they breathe or when they have sensations or feelings is valid. The more that we increase their ability to express that and understand that what we receive from them is valid, the faster this is going to go when we try to put the mask on. We also need to have an awareness from students, and this is specifically easier to do as they get older, is can they give you feedback when they are aware, when they put a mask on, what their fight or flight response is? Are they a fight person? Do they get anxious and want to move out in aggression? Are they a flight person? Do they feel small and contracted? Or are they a freeze where they kind of zone out and they just don't want to they don't want to feel anything and they don't want to say anything? These things are some things that the older kids have a better time expressing with good breath hygiene practices in place already. The next piece is the gradual increase. So desensitization to the idea of wearing a mask. So what's the mask really doing? It is increasing the resistance of airflow. That's it. It's like, that's it. It's increasing the resistance of airflow. So when children breathe in and out of the mask, they need to be able to be desensitized to an increase of resistance. And a lot of the exercises that we showed today play right into that. If you do the high five breathing with breathing through the straw, that's going to help children desensitize with the resistance breathing. If you do, I've just made my notes here from the ones that you performed today because they were so great. The high five, the blowing with the straws, those are two really great ones for doing that. Any of the pacing interventions will help with slowing the breath down into that S part of breath hygiene, slow the breath down and notice, is it really coming from the belly? They can do any of the pacing exercises, the mountain breathing, the fan, the heart shape, and the finger tracing. I specifically like the finger tracing because it has the added value of touch. It actually kind of feels tickly to touch your fingers, and a mask on your face is very tickly. The mask on the face is also touching incredibly sensitive nerve endings that through the vagal bundle actually connect to your heart center. So if you imagine when people's faces are being touched and they feel stressed, their heart is actually getting activated. So children need to know that their face and their heart are connected. And if they feel touch, that light touch is important. And what they feel here, if they feel scared of that touch, there's going to be a negative emotional reaction. So creating safety with that physical sensation is really important before they wear the mask, and creating safety with the feeling of resistance is really important. The other part that I wanted to touch on in my couple of minutes that I have left is using escape hatches. And this is part of the desensitization. Now, I think someone talked about, actually it was mentioned more than once, recovery loops. I like to have that as an escape. I call them the escape hatch. Where do we go when the mask puts us in overwhelm? Children need to know that there's a language around that, saying, Mommy or teacher, I need a breathing break. And so you need to create safety zones where children can go and take the mask off and then engage in the other breath hygiene exercises that you've taught them so they can come back to baseline and then reapply the mask. Any questions with that piece so far? Anything coming up?
Yeah, one of our participants said everyone needs to see this. Can we share a short video clip and direct people to the website for details on the breath practices, of course? Also, how do we access the longer call from Lisa? Actually, we have time, so yeah, just go on, Lisa.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so that's the two first parts were the physical safety and the psychosocial safety. And then the third part is, I think, a broader understanding for children is, what are we doing with these masks? They need to know it's not physiologically normal to wear a mask. We do cover our faces for those of us who live in places where we have winter, and children put masks on to go play outside. So in some ways, it's normalized. However, in other ways, it's not normalized. And if it's connected with fear, that's different than throwing on a toque and a scarf in the winter to go outside ice skating. So the community safety aspect needs to be handled very specifically with, why are we asking children to wear a mask? And it's important for people to come to their own answers around that. I can't do that for you. In some situations, parents are being told it's mandatory and they must do it whether they agree with the process or not. And in other situations, we have parents who are saying everyone should be doing it regardless of any special considerations. So it's not my place to tell you if it's right or wrong to wear the mask. What I want to do is help children feel safe in them if they are wearing them. And so the fourth piece of community safety is to make sure that children understand the purpose of a mask. The mask does not create safety for them physically. They are doing it as an act of kindness for others. That's a really important part of wearing the mask that needs to be understood. And from that piece, it takes the fear down. So when we're looking at the community safety, the big piece here is community health and wellness. And so if we're looking at that, it loops back into breath hygiene. How do we teach children to blow their noses? How do we teach children to cough or sneeze into their sleeves? Well, now we have them wearing a permanent handkerchief across their face when they're in public places. That's, effective. And let's just think about this. That's kind of gross. From a kid's perspective, they now have their spit and their snot on their skin. That's gross. I've had a lot of conversations with little ones, and I've been teaching from this one book. I know it's not in the curriculum, but I'm just going to show it really quickly. The Science of Snot and Phlegm, okay? I'll do this in the longer call. There's some excellent stuff in here to help kids connect hard with the reason why we have snot and phlegm and why it's so good for their body, and why breathing through your mouth actually reduces the snot and phlegm in your body and then increases the risk of getting sick. So it's another reason to teach them not to mouth breathe. So we want to talk about that. We also want to talk about what's the right way to wear a mask to make sure that we reduce the chances of passing whatever we just caught in our mask. So I say, I've done this with a couple of children, is I take a Kleenex and I spit in it, and then I blow my nose in it, and then I turn it the other way and say, do you want to touch it? Nobody wants to touch my Kleenex. I don't know why. It's just me. So what do we do with the masks? There's some important things for everybody to understand. Now I have 3 kinds of masks to show you, and we're going to go really quickly through these. And again, I'll spend more time with this when we get into the longer call. But number 1, mask hygiene is never touch the front of the mask. When I say never, I don't mean sometimes. I mean never. Don't touch the cloth. Use the handles only. Teach the children to put them on without touching the front of the mask to adjust it in any way. So that means teaching them how to put it on by putting their chin in it first, and then bringing it up and over their ears, like that. This is the easiest way to get it on. If they have the ones with the ties or the elastic that come on doubly over the face, well, this is why I like, I don't have one of those. I have one that has a loop behind the head this way, and then it has ties on the sides that I can pull back and tie behind my head so that it fits perfectly, okay? But at no time do you want them to do what I just did. See that? Grab it with your teeth, hold it down like this. If you pull it down to talk and you're breathing, everything that's here is now on the outside of the mask instead of the inside of the mask, which means when you put it back on, the next time that you cough, sneeze, or laugh, everything on the outside of the mask is now airborne. So it completely nullifies the point of wearing the mask. Okay, so that's another piece of the hygiene for us to understand. I'm going to go back to the paper mask because it's a little bit easier. When we put it on, chin first, smile in. I always tell them, let's smile into our mask. So we smile in, I can see your happy eyes. We make sure it's tucked in properly. On the longer call, I'll talk about proper fit. If it's got a metal wire, we do the wire from the top, we push down, and we come all the way out to the ears so that it fits properly. This is really important. This top fit is really important for two things. Number one, back to nasal versus mouth breathing. If we're breathing through our mouth, the air goes out and up into our eyes. And it creates extra sensations that can cause a little bit of discomfort and even anxiety in children. It can also contribute to an increase in eye infections because when we're breathing out what our body no longer requires. It's out of our body for a reason. But if it gets redirected directly into the eye mucosa, you're going to get eye infections. So teachers need to know they might have an increase of eye infections in their classrooms from children not wearing their masks properly. Secondly, for all those little ones who wear glasses, you want them to put their mask on first before they put their glasses on and make sure that the nose piece is up as high as it can go on the bridge of the nose. And then the glasses go on second so that they come in over top of the mask and they rest below the wire. Okay, so the wire is under the glasses and the glasses are there. Can everyone see me? There you go. This will completely get rid of fogged up glasses. So you won't have little ones who are squinting to read and giving themselves tension headaches by wearing glasses that are completely fogged up, okay? It's also good for the teachers. Okay. All right. Sides of the mask should also be tight to the face. So if you have spaces here, then we're not taking care of our neighbors to the side. If that's the case, you want to have a twist or a proper connection to the side of the face to reduce transmissions through the sides of the face. Lastly, and most importantly, and I'm going to close here, is where I started. Never touch the mask. If a child has an itch under the mask, they need to be taught to do this. Go under the mask, scratch, come on out, and then go wash your hands. If they have an itchy nose, under the mask and pick your nose. You can't see it, but I got my finger right up my nose. Okay, so scratch the nose, finger out, and then go wash your hands. All right. If you have gum in your mouth and you need to spit it out, don't grab your mask and hold it like this and spit it out. You actually have to fish it out from the side, throw it out, and then go wash your hands. If a child, for any reason, touches the front of their mask, if they do a scratch, they kind of just try to readjust it from the front. If they do this to say something to you and then put it back on, what's really interesting is this. The most recent research, I gotta put this back because it's too tight. The most recent research on the masks, where they were trying to decide where on the mask are they going to see the highest concentrations of viral load. they were swabbing the insides of the mask and the outsides of the mask for viral load. And what they found out was whichever side they swab first is the side that has the highest viral mass because of the electrostatic conduction with the droplets of water. So if a child touches the outside of their mask, it's now whatever was on the inside is now on their hands. So if you touch the outside of your mask, wash your hands. And secondly, I would suggest change your mask, because now everything that you had on the inside is on the outside. And if you continue to breathe with it, it's on your hands, it's on the outside of the mask, it's going to be airborne. So it's actually a greater risk of spreading contagion than keeping it on. So I'll close with this. Children should have, if they're going to be wearing masks in school, they should have a minimum of 6 masks per day, because who knows how many times those little loves are going to touch their face and their nose, especially in the learning period. They should have 2 baggies that are waterproof, one that is full of dirt for their dirty ones and one that's full for their clean masks. And they don't mix them up. So they start with a bag full of clean masks in the morning, and then every night they put the dirty masks in the laundry. At school, they should have mask washing practice runs, or sorry, not mask washing, hand washing and mask application practice runs, if at all possible. And the last piece here after the storage of the masks is a buddy system. I think that children should be put into buddy systems in school, if possible, to help each other. We don't always notice when we start to get anxious. We don't notice when suddenly we're breathing through our mouth, when we're really not used to breathing through our nose all the time. We don't notice when we stop belly breathing and suddenly we're breathing from the chest. When what our friend could say is, hey, do you need a breathing break? And then we can take them to that space, those safe spaces that we're creating that raise awareness and downregulate the parasympathetic. So that's where I'd like to close for today. I really look forward to sharing a few more resources with you in my longer call. If you have any questions, I think we might have a minute or two for that, depending on how the group decides. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. Excellent, excellent. All right, well, we have one more really fun thing I've been waiting for, and Joanna's going to sing to us talking about washing your hands after you pick your nose and so on. Joanne has a really great message for us, and I think that's what we're up to. Is that right? Are we ready for her?
Joanne, before you start, I'll just say one thing. I'm getting a lot of chat box questions about when my mask presentation will be available, and I'll make it available through the IBF website and through the Conscious Breathing in the Classroom web pages. So everyone, look back where you found this event and you'll find that information.
Fantastic.
Perfect, beautiful.
Thanks, Lisa. So for everyone who's listening, if you've been listening with your adult or parent or teacher head, I'm going to ask you to put on your kid's hat now, because this is a song for you, for your child within. And hopefully, if you want to do the motions with me, you can. When you breathe, it's through your nose, not your mouth. That's for chewing. When you breathe, it's through your nose, not your mouth. That's for chewing. Wash your hands. Breathe through your nose. When you breathe, it's through your nose, not your mouth. If you lick your friends, wait, don't lick your friends. If you blow your nose, wash your hands. Wash your hands. Breathe through your nose. Don't lick your friends, but it's okay to blow your nose. If you touch your face through your mask, if you itch your nose through your mask, wash your hands, breathe through your nose. If you touch your face or itch your nose, if you lick your finger, wash your hands. If you pick your nose, wash your hands. Wash your hands, breathe through your nose. If you lick your finger or pick your nose, When you breathe, it's through your nose, not your mouth. That's for chewing. When you breathe, it's through your nose, not your mouth. That's for chewing. Wash your hands. Breathe through your nose. When you breathe, it's through your nose, not your mouth. Hey! I saw lots of everybody doing the motions with us.
All right, what a beautiful way to end. So we just have to wrap up a little bit here. We have any final little announcements to make before we take a few breaths and close off?
A few announcements, sure. Yeah, we have. So if you need to hear it again, someone will put it in the chat bar, thebreathingclassroom.com. You'll find this kit to download. You'll find a previous video of this presentation, the new information about Lisa's things coming up. And we have another announcement. We made reference to the larger program, Conscious Breathing in the Classroom. There's a 60-page manual you can register for, and you'll get it sent to you for free. And as of today, until the end of August, we did a live training of that last year from Joshua Tree at the Global Inspiration Conference. And a video of that is available for the next 2 weeks for you to do the training. So all those questions about ages of kids, there you go, there's the manual there. So there's an actual, a video of that training, and that's going to be starting as of today. So if all you need to do is register, and one of our beautiful people, by the way, our wonderful team, Tilsum, who's been in the background, she's probably going to send you those wonderful manuals. Anıl and Dan, who've been hosting us tonight. And here we have Luke, who has 39 years as a teacher, and Lisa, who is now a new second-year national representative for Canada. And I'm the leader of the Conscious Breathing in the Classroom group of the International Breathwork Foundation, ibfbreathwork.org, if you want to know more. And one last thing, we're all volunteers. We love what we do. We love our kids. We love the breath. If you felt benefit from this, if you want to pass on the word, and if you want to, you could donate to our Breathwork Development Fund for the IBF, because that's how we're able to do this work when we have to actually pay for something. So any of your support is very helpful, and sure, go ahead and say some things in the comments. And it's beautiful to see all of you here today. We're so happy and proud to share this with you all. Thank you, everyone. You can unmute if you want.
Great. Well, okay. It looks like we're ready to just wrap up. What a wonderful group. Thanks for showing up. And let's just take a few breaths together. You know, the children are the future. Anything we can do to support them, you know, working on ourselves is the best way to help our children and to model an example and to help them to learn about themselves. So thank you for everyone. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for all the presenters. Onward and upward, everyone. Yahoo.